first, I will introduce. Today. Today I will introduce that VaporSynth. It is a video post-processing tool, and it's script-based, so no UI and just write a script language to use it. So I will show you how to do this. Okay, first I will tell everybody my title is VaporSynth comes the easy indicate that VaporSynth will shut down. So like the American government. Oh, sorry. Okay, so my name is Xue Chonggu. And we first talk about the utility for video post-production. Okay, to do video post-production, there are some famous utilities. For example, Adobe After Effects and the Foundry New, like here and here and here. So they offer GUI based to they offer GUI for artists. So we can use some and we can do some post processing by manipulating a layered timeline interface vectors. A layered timeline interface. So, and in Nuke, we make a series of post-processing by manipulating complex voice graph, complex node graphs. So, however, not all video post-production utilities offer GUI for artists. Some video post-production tools is too strange, so we can only manipulating these tools by writing scripts. One of these is VaporSynth, and the other is I will introduce today, VaporSynth. So, to know what is VaporSynth, let's talk about his predecessor, VaporSynth. So, I will give a demo to everybody. So there is a script named Syntel.abs, and its content just look like this. So we drag it into the Media Player Classic. Okay, you will see a video. You will see video plays, and the above video is the original MV from Syntel, the most famous open source movie project, and below is processed by me. So let's play it. So the first two parts, I do some video cropping and mosaic effect. And in this part, I do something like a film effect. And in this part, I do some interlace effect. Color remapping. videos. I treat the ability to do PGR and do edge detection and the motion and the moving and scaling. Okay, so back to slides. So what's happened? Yes, Microsoft Windows has an API named VFW. It stands for Video for Windows. So we usually read API file and write API file by using this VFW API. So if we hijack this API file reading API, so we could launch video processing and backend. So and feed processing result as uncovered API video frames in real time. So this is what the API Sync does. It hijacks API file reading in VFW API. Then the script engine processes what we write in scripts. And the script engine and the core engine follows script description to build the corresponding video processing grid. Finally, iterative feed video processing result as API video frames. So we can play this script as a normal API video frame. So let's make a conclusion. API Sync offers a script-based interface, so we could glue and integrate it into some video processing application. For example, add a watermark behind a web-based video streaming services, something like YouTube. And besides, the script-based interface of API Sync makes it easy to do batch processing or other procedural-based processing. However, script-based interface means that it is too hard to understand by non-programmer, and even if API Sync sometimes feed video in real time, it may be slow and occupy memory like a monster. And the worst is API Sync use specific script language, so it supports recursion but don't support for loop and the while loop. So is there a way to get rid of weak point of API Sync, especially in a strange script language? Okay, someone has done this. His name is Frederick Melvin, and ID is Miles Loic. This Git programmer became a life loser. Oh, sorry. And just kidding. This image analysis and processing expert was just out of order. When he sent out the job application and wait for a reply, he spent his time to make an analysis of API Sync. This is what we introduced today, API Sync. So this time I will show another demo to everybody, and you will know what is represented. So there is also a Syntel.vpy. Its content is like a normal Python script, and we drag it into virtual.dart. So you will see it's playing the video as we as we play AVI since version before. This and this. Okay, so speed. The owner says there is a the owner says WebSync come for weak pointer of WebSync. It can do frame level, multi-threading, generalize color space, perform properties, and its script engine is based on Python and supported for video with format change. And the owner says it has lighter memory usage. So it seems to be better than ABS's. Really, let's watch it later. The next session, I will tell everybody how to write a music video I showed before. So first, I will tell everybody how to load the video sources. I will tell everybody how to load the module. So first, you write the import WebSync, and you can assign WebSync get code function in WebSync module into VS Code variable, and this is the runtime of WebSync. So, and if you want to use another plugin from external like a FMS tool or others, you can use the SD.load plugin to load the native plugin, and the AVS to load the plugin which is built for AVS. Just like here, this like VS Code.std.load plugin, and in this line I import FMS2.dll. And to processing a video, we need to read the video by FMS2.source or AVI source.avi source. This is a built-in function, and this is the external function. Just like here, this time. I load the original official MV from the open source project Syntel. And to decide what movie we want to output, we can write we can call the method from the clip variable that set output, and it will output the result from my final clip. Like here, this line, the last line. So now we go back to the script content, and until here, we can produce a video from the original official Syntel movie music video. So this time I will show you how to do some part and how to clip some part of the video. So if you want to clip this, if you want to trim video, you can call the slice operation like clip start frame and end frame. So notice that end frame is exclusive, and so the end frame won't be shown in the final result. And if you use SD.string, the next frame is inclusive. And if you want to concatenate two videos just like this, we can trim mosaic effect result plus border result plus the frame rate adjustment result. Then finally we will get the movie clip result like I showed before. Okay, if you want to loop this, if you want to loop a video, you can call sdd.loop. So next time I will talk about FPS editing. So, FPS editing is represents over 3 functions like std.select every, std.interleave. So it can do something like if we want to duplicate or remove some frames, we can use select every function. It will keep frame 0 and throw out frame 1, 2, and 3. And then we can call std.interleave to duplicate these 4 frames to Intel DOP, Intel 6P, 24P. Okay, so so next time I will this time I will talk about the field-based processing, like TV function. And if you watch TV, you will notice that the TV is based on field-based video. That is, it will show other field first, and then even field second, then other field, and so on. So it will contain so we will interlace 2 complete frames, just like this. So first we use std.separate fields to separate Intel MV from the whole frame to interlace the result, and to use double width to with the field-based video into the interlaced video again. So we will see the video shows like before. So resizing, border extending, and cropping are major way to change the geometry of the video clips. If you want to resize the video, we can use resize bilinear, bicubic, point Gaussian, or spline. So like here. We can call resize first to resize the video smaller, and we call resize point to resize video to bigger, and we will get a mosaic effect. And if you want to crop a video or add border, or in another words, extension video, we can use the crop and add border to crop a video, just like we seen before. So if you want to do some zooming effect, you can combine resize and add border and crop function to do some moving and scaling effect, like the movie showed before. So if you want to attach another color channel like a mask channel or alpha channel, you can call sd.clip to buffer or sd buffer to clip to extract the mask and the alpha channel. So like here. To convert the color space, if you want to blend do some color conversion, we can use sd.ut. It will take a lookup table or lookup function to do color conversion. And if we want to do video blending, we can use sd.lut2. And if you want to do 3 video clip blending or 2 video blending, like and plus a method, we can use the STD integration. But you notice that it doesn't support the color lookup table, but just the post piece function like this. Post piece expression, post piece expression, and post piece expression. Oh, sorry. So, and before I talk the STD.LT, you can use this. We can assign offset function and blend function into here. So, if you want to exchange, merge, or separate the color channel, STD.shuffle plans can do this for us. Like here. So if we will exchange red channel to black, red channel to blue channel, and blue channel to red channel, and keep the green channel. So sometimes we need to create some profane animation effect, such as fade in, fade out, and incrementally scale video frames. So we can define a function to vary video contents per frames. So ever since over STD.frame evaluate, and we will see how to do this. There is a function named animator, and it will take a current frame number from parameter n, and we blend and we do some calculation here. Then we call STD.frame evaluate from the and assign animator function object to here. Animation object here. Then we will do this. We will execute this function per frame, not like the three click we heard before. So if you want to do some debugging such as printing something. So VivoSense offers some function like in test module like test.click info, and test.frame number, test.frame pulse. So maybe you read maybe we read editing some frame of video clips and get into trouble, and we can use this to show what happened. Like here, it will show a text in the top left corner, print some text, and click the info like we use RGB space or YUV space. So I will talk about the VivoSense limitation in the next session. So VivoSense is not as good as we thought. It has some limitations, like don't support the audio track, so you don't see talking about the audio track before. And it lacks of color mapping preset, lacks of transformation plugin, and lacks of straight FPS conversion. So we can lacks of color remapping preset means that it couldn't open any preset for us to use very friendly. And it lacks of transformation plugin, so we can do moving or rotating or scaling effects, and it lacks of straight FPS conversion. So we can only do FPS conversion by duplicating frames or removing frames. So we don't use something like ABS change FPS or convert the FPS function. So let's make the summary. VivoSense has a good beginning. It offers some good function like STD.LT, so it can do anything color conversion as we thought. But it is of audio processing or something like a transformation plugin, so it can do something like music video or something we need to sync audio or video track. So I think it will be more better if the other add some audio track processing and audio syncing function in it. So next time I will show you how to install VaporSynth. So if you want to use VaporSynth, just download Python 3 from the official site, then install it. And if you want to install VaporSynth, you can download it from vaporsynth.com and install it. Because it needs script engine from Python, so you must have this. And if you want to load some FFmpeg video, like if you want to load some video which is supported by FFmpeg library, you can use FMS2, and it can download from here. And all you need is to put fms2.exe, fms-index.exe into C program files VaporSynth plugin 32. Also, okay. Any question? Actually, it has FS file system hijacking. Do you know? File system hijacking. It can hijack the file reading function. So the fopen function will get an API string. Read this script file as an API string.
So do you install VaporSynth on Mac machine or Linux?
Maybe you can build by yourself. It offers source code, so you can build it by yourself.
So you're not using it on Windows?
The official binary version is for Windows. Okay, another question.
What is different with the
Sorry?
What is different with the
FFmpeg. Oh, FFmpeg is sorry. FFmpeg is this one. Actually, it is a library to process, to read or write audio and video files. So, any question? Sorry for my broken English.
Okay, so if we have more question, we can leave this session and talk to the speaker. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thanks everybody.